this video, you're going to see how to wrap the corners of this table with interior film using two different methods. One involves an overlap and the other is one piece. Let's get to it. The first step is always cleaning it with interior film wraps, whether you're wrapping a wall, table, cabinets. In most cases, you don't want to spray directly on the surface because it gets extra wet. Always spray on the microfiber towel, clean the surface first, the sides, and then the bottom edges. So nice sequential order, so then all the dirt is going down. And since the table is sealed, the best primer to use is one that is solvent. This particular primer comes from CoverStyle and actually has an applicator built into the lid. If you don't have this, then it's a good idea to use a foam applicator. You generally get those from the printers. Oftentimes when you're doing the side in this case with the wide part of the brush, it's a good idea to rotate the brush to make sure the coating stays nice and even, and then refresh it in the can as needed. Then once the side is done, always a good idea to put a little bit of primer on the underside, especially for this second method you're going to see. So now once the primer is dried, and this will vary based on the manufacturer, in this case is about 25 minutes, then it's time to apply the interior film. Interior film generally has an aggressive initial tack, so it's always a good idea to release a little bit of the liner first, then set up a hinge and work from side to side. Always keep that liner on. As the squeegeeing process is taking place, this allows the adhesive not to touch too prematurely and makes for a nice, easy, smooth install. Make sure the edges are nice and set up, and we'll get to style number one for corners is kind of set up the corner by pressing a finger on it, cut 45 degrees away, lift one side up, doesn't matter what side. Now run a finger on the top edge to really make sure that interior film is hugging that corner, and then take it all the way down to the edge. Now once that's set, now take the triangle piece and fold it around the corner, click the blade so it's extra sharp, and once that's set, now cut about, I would say about 3 or 4 millimeters on the other side of the corner. Cut vertically down so it's nice and straight. Make sure you cut with a nice light touch so you don't cut too deep, but enough that obviously it cuts through. Cut off the excess film at the bottom, and now it's time to apply the piece on the other side. So loosen it from where it was tacked on before, round that top edge, and now don't bring it around the other side of the corner. No need for that. In this case, just let it hang at a 90-degree angle. Come with a blade that is perpendicular to this edge right now and cut straight down. So this is a nice, easy, safe cut. But what this can mean, because interior film is thick, that the edge is still kind of poking out, which for long-term Durablade isn't great. Now it's time to just trim it off a little bit so it's really precise right on the corner. What I like about this is not only does it make it extra durable, but also it just really hides it right on the corner so it looks like one piece and it holds up really well. So this is an overlap style corner. Now you're going to see a one-piece corner. So this obviously is different because now you're going to need to use heat and there's no relief cut. Interior film can be a little thick as mentioned earlier, so in this case make sure it's nice and warm in a wide area, and now using the triangle technique, pull the material and spread it out so it doesn't bunch up and focus on the corner, it spreads out. And you can see those fingers on the side in that triangle shape, and then let it sit. Very important to let it kind of cool and harden back on that spot before applying it. You really want it to kind of just cool back to room temperature before letting it sit on the corner. And then once that's set on the corner, now give it a kiss of heat right now. And then once it's relaxed and you can see that memory factor taking place, now it's time to pull and stretch the material away using the triangle technique again. But don't pull and take it all the way to the edge. Work in baby increments right now. It's all about not overstretching the film. So give it a kiss of heat and then just work it down in baby increments. See some tension build up right there. So Stefano, who's one of the trainers at CoverStyle, picks it up, relaxes it right now. Then once it's relaxed, then just gently takes it down. So again, he relaxes it and his free hand is just guiding the material enough so that it doesn't wrinkle too much. Little tiny wrinkle right there on the corner, so he gives it a kiss of heat, pulls it down nice and relaxed, and done. So this is how you do one side, and this is how you do the other side, which is pretty much the same, but you can see that heat being added right now. Once that heat is added right now, he's going to relax it right down to the edge, pulls away in that triangle technique, but again, doesn't take it all the way down to the bottom because that would overstretch it. Just enough now to kind of get no wrinkles. Sees a little tiny wrinkle there, picks it back up. Again, always want to go back to the start by kissing with heat, triggering that memory effect, relaxing the material down, and just working it down with a thumb or squeegee. So once it's right there to the edge, you want to make sure that there's absolutely no wrinkles on the main face of the side of the table. Very important for that. And now we get to the underside of the table. Make a 45-degree cut away from the corner, and this is very important. Make another tiny little cut right now and kind of fade it out, and that's going to leave a little sliver of material, about 1/8 of an inch, that then is going to be pulled to the underside of the table. And you can see it right there, little pull around right now, and this is actually going to ensure full coverage when you have the tiny overlap on either side of the corner. So give it a kiss of heat right now just to relax it, and then gently form it underneath. And the goal is to kind of get it underneath the underside of the table, nice and flat, but don't squeegee. Very important not to squeegee right now, because then if you add heat, it'll actually relax a little bit right back to the bottom corner right now. So very important, don't squeegee. Pull it under, kiss it with heat, let it relax. And now once it relaxes, pick it back up so it doesn't touch the other side of the table, and then lock it onto the surface. Very important. That's really good for long-term durability, just minimizing any tension left in the material. Then here, cutting out about 1/4 inch, about 1 centimeter underneath the bottom side of the table right there. Nice light touch, very sharp knife. So once that cut is made, now it's time to cut the bottom piece that was pulled under first. Now it's time to do the exact same thing on the underside. Give it a kiss of heat, pull it on the underside of the table right now, tack it onto the bottom side right now, don't squeegee, give it a kiss of heat. Once it relaxes now, then once the material is relaxed, come back in and give it a squeegee stroke. So once it's now locked firmly onto the table, same thing, make a relief cut, but in this case, want to cut about 45 degrees away on the underside of the table. So again, it's all about that 45-degree cut away from the corner. Then, again, let their thumb be a guide to create nice symmetry under there, and then make that 1/4 inch or that 1 centimeter cut on the underside for that extra long-term hold. So definitely have to wrap under the table for a one-piece corner like this, but if you're doing that overlap corner that you saw at the beginning of the video, well then you definitely don't have to wrap under the table because there's much less tension. But either way, let's get to the final finishing right now. And this is a great tool. It comes from Japan, and this one is sold from SOT in Europe. But basically, the metal piece gets hot. It's battery activated right now, so basically pressing a button, and that really helps kind of seal the material onto itself. So you can do it for the one-piece underside, but you can also do it for the overlap on the first piece that you saw as well. So once those are heated and set up, then you're good to go. And then we get a shot of the final result right now. So this is the overlap corner, which I think looks really good. And if done right, it looks like it's one piece, but again, you got that nice, good overlap there that holds up good for the long term. Or you can do the one-piecer like this that looks absolutely good, and if you do it right, it holds up just as well. So I hope you picked up some good tips and tricks in this video. Thanks for watching. Justin Pate.